It's your girl T here, and we're back with the Sunday vidya. I know you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day because it's what we do. We're tea timers. We always have the best days. Our affirmation of the day is I create the rules in my reality. I create the rules in my reality. We're tea timers, so we always create the rules in our own reality. I wanted to give a really good example for those of you who are having a hard time picturing what it looks like to create your own reality in real time. Now, for those of you who are new, I am a manifestation coach helping you make your day easier one day at a time. So when we're manifesting our SP, a lot of you will say it feels so weird, it feels so abnormal to be talking to someone who's not there, to assume they feel these things about me and they're not even in front of me. But I've told you so many times, you create the feeling whether the person's there or not. It doesn't matter what the person is saying to you. Have you ever been in a relationship where, or seen in a movie that somebody is completely head over heels for someone, and it's obvious in the movie that the person doesn't feel the same way back for that one specific person? However, the perception or the looking glass they're looking at that person they're in love with filters everything they're saying into some kind of love omen towards them. So their perception is the person's in love with them, so they see the person out of that lens. So what they see and hear is filtered to the setting that they're in love with me. So it looks different from whoever's perspective it's coming from. The perfect example of this is that show on Netflix called Love is Blind. I watched a couple episodes and it is the perfect example of how we create the feeling ourselves, how it doesn't even have to be tangible in the 3D for us to create it. So for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll give you the premise of the show. They put people in these different pods, these isolation pods, and they go on dates with people where the other person is in a pod separate from them, and they talk to each other through a wall but cannot see each other. Based off of what they're saying to each other, they all form relationships with different people, and they choose the partner that they want to marry without even meeting them, and then they go and meet each other for the first time and the guy proposes to the woman. These people are head over heels in love with the person they pick. They haven't seen them. They don't know what they look like. They ask them questions through a wall, so they could be anything that their mind is creating. Yes, they have that one 3D feature where they can hear the other person's voice, but we can hear the other person's voice in our memory bank, in our head. We've had a relationship with this person before, or if you haven't had a relationship with the person before, you're manifesting a new SP, you can create what their voice would sound like, and we have these conversations internally. The only difference is that they're having them externally, but they're still carrying on that conversation internally as to what they want to ask them next, what they think they'll say to something that they ask. And then they meet them, and the people will say, I am so in love with this person, I can't even believe it. And it's been like 3 or 4 days of them going back and forth and doing the affirming in their heads, having the conversations with these people in their heads as well as in the 3D. And then they marry them, or they decide at the end if they want to marry them, or what have you. But it's the perfect example of not needing tangible evidence in front of you to believe that you truly are in love, because that feeling of love comes from you. It's how you think of love, how you feel in love, and seeing, living in the wish fulfilled is giving yourself the feeling of love, yourself the feeling of confidence, yourself the feeling of whole and completeness, without having the person there in front of you to do that for you. No one else can make us feel in love. No one else can make us feel things that we don't choose to feel. So if we want to feel in love before our 3D catches up, we have to give ourselves that feeling. We give ourselves all these different feelings. We get mad at people in our heads before they even know we're mad at them. We get sad about things before the other person even knows we're sad about it. The feeling comes from us. Thoughts create beliefs. Beliefs and thoughts create emotion, which all hand in hand goes and creates in our 3D. So if you're looking for these feelings to come from external people and things, you're doing it backwards, because we're actually giving ourselves the feelings that are a reaction to what's happening in our 3D. So if we change our feeling and our thoughts and then see it come to fruition in the 3D, then we're working the system the best way possible, as opposed to reacting to the 3D, thinking that that thing, event, or person created this feeling in us, and then continuing the cycle of reaction, 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 circle of hell. Instead, we want to create, we want to see it. Create, see it. And we can just keep creating. Eventually we'll see it, but we don't have to validate it by the 3D, because we create the thoughts and emotions, and then it pushes out. When the thoughts and emotions become real to us, it pushes out into our 3D. So I just thought this show was a really great example of how the feelings actually come from us, not some external feature that brings us this joy. We create that within us, and then it pushes out externally. If y'all have questions, you know what to do. I love y'all, but not as much as you should be loving yourselves. Have a beautiful, blessed Sunday. Bye.